Hello, Matthew Armstrong here, and this is the first in a series of videos of my polyphasic sleep experiment. And I think I'm going to call these videos the nighttime diaries, because I'm going to make them all at nighttime while I do this sleep, or even maybe lack of sleep experiment. So if you haven't come across it before, it's also known as the Uberman Sleep, Polyphasic Sleep experiment, or where you're sleeping basically for 20 minutes every 4 hours. And this is round the clock, 24 hours, so that no time do you rest for 6 hours or 8 hours. It's 20 minutes every 4 hours. So I started this yesterday, and my first sleep was at 1 p.m. and I did actually get to sleep. I actually fell asleep for 20 minutes. I think I slept for 10 of those minutes. And then again at 5 p.m. went to bed for 20 minutes. I think I might have got 5 minutes. Then again at 9 p.m. got a little bit of sleep for 20 minutes. And then again at 1 a.m. I didn't sleep at 1 a.m. at all, I don't think. And then at 5 a.m. I think I might have got 5 or 10 minutes at 5 a.m. this morning. And so now it's about 6 a.m. So pretty much a full day of it cracked, and feeling absolutely energetic. It is only the first day still. So not jumping ahead too far, but still feeling really good. Just to give you a bit of background on it, if you're not familiar with polyphasic sleep, there are people who have said that they have done it, and long term, and that they have more energy, they have better health, they have more creativity, they have more clarity and mental alertness, all the things you think you wouldn't have. But what actually supposedly happens is that the body gets into a rhythm. And what you actually do is, throughout the 7 or 8 hours we generally sleep at night, we go through different phases of sleep. And we're only in REM sleep for a very short time, and that's when the real magic of the rejuvenation happens, rejuvenating ourselves, mind and body, happens in the REM sleep. So what actually happens over the first 10 to 14 days is the adaptation stage of getting into the polyphasic sleep way. You're going through sleep deprivation, but then the body has to adapt because you're pushing it, so it has to adapt to it. So then, whenever you go for your 20-minute naps, it goes through all the other stages very, very quickly, because it knows it's only getting a 20-minute nap. The body knows that it's okay, this is a 20-minute nap. I need to get to REM sleep very, very quickly in order to maximize this time. So then, in that 20-minute time, we get, sometimes I hear people who have done it say that sometimes in a 20-minute space of time, they feel like they've had 8 or 9 hours sleep. They literally wake up totally refreshed and think that they've been sleeping all night. Look at the watch and it's only 20 minutes have gone past. So the reason I'm doing it is I'm very curious. I'm very curious to whether it's possible or not, because I'm open to possibilities. I live in a realm of possibility. I don't shut anything off. I don't say anything's impossible. I look at it, and even if it goes completely against what I believe is possible, I just take a step back and I go, that's really interesting. I'm curious about that. Let's see if it's possible. And so with this, I'm actually a huge advocate for sleep. I love sleep. I sleep at least 7 hours a night, and I understand the importance of it to rejuvenate the body, to regenerate, to grow new cells and all that stuff. But if you can actually sleep for 2 hours a night and get all that anyway, and have more health, more clarity, more energy by sleeping only 2 hours a night, if that's possible, then I want to find out about it, because there's actually been no scientific proof. No one's been taken into a lab, as far as we know, and studied, so they can actually say, yes, this works, or no, this doesn't work. There's lots of scientific studies out there on polyphasic sleep, majority of them saying that it's not actually possible, or it is possible but it's really unhealthy, and you'll go mad, and you'll break down physically, and all these things. It's not possible long term. Maybe for someone doing a round the world yacht race by himself, maybe it's useful for that, but otherwise no. So I read all this sort of stuff. I've read the pros and the cons. I've read people saying it's impossible. I've read the people who said they've done it, and both are very convincing. In fact, I read some stuff about, and I was almost convinced that it wasn't possible because it was so convincing. But then I read something else and go, okay, maybe it is possible, So I need to find out for myself. Because if I can sleep for 14 hours a week, I know some people that sleep 14 hours in a night. If I can sleep for 14 hours in a week and still be just as healthy, just as energetic, just as clear, just as balanced, just as centered, and still have an extra 30 to 40 hours at least a week in order to do all the other things I want to do, to me that's amazing. It's fantastic, and I want to find out for myself, because a lot of the people who are against it are saying that the people who say they've done it, they're actually saying, well, they're just lying. Then there's no way to prove they did it. They didn't have anyone watching them, studying them. And this is true, they didn't. And very, very few people actually are successful at this. From what I've read, like 99.99% of people who try this, aren't successful. They don't get past the first week, or the second week, or the first month. Because the adaptation stage, that is the hardest, where you're going through sleep deprivation, where your body's adjusting to eventually it just gets into this rhythm where it starts to realize what's going on, and it allows it to do it. So is this natural? Is this unnatural? To me, it doesn't matter. If it works, it works. If it gets positive results, it gets positive results. But for me, health comes number one. And if any time I think my health is suffering adversely rather than just a little bit of sleep deprivation, which I can handle, then I will knock on the head. And like I said, a lot of people do fail. Let me just let the cat in. Come on, girl. Meow. Good girl. Yeah, so, like I said, many people fail at this, and even the ones that say they've done it successfully, have they really? Or, to the extent that they've said they've done it. So, I don't know, but I want to find out, and I do feel that I've got a few distinct advantages over many of the people who probably did it and weren't successful. One of the things is my health and my fitness is in peak condition. I'm in peak condition right now, so I can put up with a little bit of sleep deprivation for a week or two without my immune system going completely down and myself crashing and getting flu or whatever. I can handle that. So my adrenals are functioning very, very well. I'm not going on any caffeine highs and lows or sugar highs and lows or anything like that. My diet's very, very solid. So that's an advantage. Second advantage is psychologically. For those who do actually get past the physical hardship in the first 10 to 14 days, then the next couple of weeks is generally psychological. And it's just getting through the psychological aspect of there's actually no end to the day and no beginning to the day. You're just constantly going through this thing. And apparently that can be psychologically quite disturbing for some people. Because a lot of people, they put all their problems on hold when they go to bed at night. They go, I'll sort all my problems out tomorrow, and then it's tomorrow. But when you're doing this, it's like you gotta face things. And I think you probably gotta face some of your demons when you do this. So with me, my speciality, I'm a behavioral specialist, human behavior specialist. So very balanced psychologically, emotionally. I know how to, if any emotions come up, I know how to handle them. I know how to deal with emotional aspects, things like that. So I have an advantage in that respect as well. And thirdly, I've experience with sleep deprivation. I spent 5 years in the Royal Marines Commandos. So one of the things in training is recruits had the nickname of nods, because you're always nodding off because you only sleep about 2 hours a night, especially when you're in the field, when you're on camp maybe 4 hours a night, and you do this for 8 months. And then anywhere you are, you just automatically fall asleep. I've fallen asleep while I've been walking along sometimes. So I know what I'm up against. I know the hardship. I'm prepared for it. I know what I'm in for. And sleep deprivation, it is pretty tough. They use it in prisoners of war as a torture tactic. So yeah, I believe that if it is possible, and I believe anything's possible, then I believe that that I can do it. But is it healthy? Let's see. If I can do it healthily, that's going to be wonderful. If I can get an extra 30 to 40 hours a week to be able to live my inspiring purpose and mission even more, to be able to read more books, to be able to write more, to complete some books this year, that'd be fantastic. And to do research and things like that, that'd be amazing. Because I love getting up early in the morning. I'm a night owl, and I'm very creative at night time. So the two clash. So this thing could be really, really great if it works. I also read about a lot of great geniuses from the past who did this polyphasic sleep, and found that very interesting. But then on further research, there's no actual evidence to suggest that they did this strict polyphasic sleep. They did keep unusual sleep patterns. People like Tesla, Leonardo da Vinci, Buckminster Fuller. Leonardo da Vinci, Buckminster Fuller, they're two of the people who they reckon did do something like this, where they just took cat naps throughout the day and night, and they kind of worked all night and things like that. But there's no, like I said, there's nothing to say yes, it's absolutely true, that's what they did. But these people did keep some unusual sleep patterns. So yeah, I believe it's possible. I'm going to do it, and so I'm going to update this maybe every night. We'll see how it goes, and we shall see how we go. And like I was saying, there's no scientific studies where they've actually had someone in a lab and tested them and seen if it's healthy, how their body's working, and seen if they can function with clarity with only 2 hours of sleep. So if I am successful at this after a couple of months, I will actually put myself up for scientific studies and go into a lab and be lab tested for a month or so to actually prove it. Because I do actually believe it's possible. There's one of the guys who I'm actually hedging most of my bets on is Steve Pavlina. He blogged about this. He did this for 5.5 months, and he said after 5.5 months he got much more productive. At the end of it, his health was perfect. He had perfect focus, clarity, everything. The only reason he stopped at the end was just to have better social function with his family and people around him and things like that. But apart from that, he said everything else was perfect. So I was quite inspired by the things he said, and I do believe it's possible. So what I like to do is things that people say are impossible, I like to prove they're possible. One of the things, my challenge at the minute that I'm in the middle of, is I'm putting on 30 pounds of muscle in 100 days, eating vegan, raw and vegan cooked food, and mostly raw and vegan cooked. And I'm wondering, will this affect this? I'm sure it will affect it a bit, especially in the first week or two, while my body is a little bit more fatigued, because the body grows better when it's at sleep. So we shall see if this affects my challenge, because I'm at day 60 at the minute, or 62. We'll see how it affects it, but everything's been going really well so far. But I just wanted to do this right now. Maybe I should have. No, I shouldn't have. Now's the time. Okay, speak to you tomorrow night. My name is Matthew Armstrong. Take care.